And it looks like we are live, so I'm going to say hello everyone and welcome to a terrible stream for terrible people. How are we doing this fine Monday? I am fucking knackered. I've done nothing but tidying all goddamn weekend, except for right at the end where we watched half of a movie. So I'm pretty fucking exhausted, and I get to do a whole week more of work. And don't we have shit to do next weekend as well?
Yes.
Brilliant. Whoever said that being an adult was anything other than shit? Yeah, you've got the freedom and you probably got more money than you had when you were a kid, but you don't have any fucking time. God damn it. I know, this is also fucking cliche, but sometimes it's really annoying. I need to rest at some point in the future. Hail Satan indeed, Hydroid. Oh, I'm bored. Who wants whiskey? I have a sick load. Just send £20 to the sick club. Hashtag sick. There's lots of sick in that. It's everywhere. It's in the crevices. Oh, unbelievable. The closest thing I did to having fun this weekend was setting up my new phone. It's very fancy. I actually got one for me and Mrs. Sick because we want to get phones for the kids. We've had ours for about 3 years, so I thought that'd be nice. Mine went fine. That was great. With Mrs. Sick, the fucking, the bit where you use the SIM removal tool. Yeah, the hole for the fucking microphone is next to that. I completely unbrained it and stabbed that poor thing. Something went pop. And then I was like, oh shit, what have I done?
You broke it, Hyman.
Apparently. Mike Hyman, which is a hell of a name. Hi, I'm Mike Hyman. Apparently I screwed nothing up. The feeling was magic. Was a joke by the manufacturer to make you think you'd broken something. I genuinely can't figure out. I looked up a teardown of the phone, and it's like it is impossible to break anything by jamming something in that hole straight, which is how SIM removal tools work. So yeah, I was like, oh my god, I can't believe I fucking done that. Oh, why did I have to do that? And yeah, apparently I've done nothing. It hasn't even hurt like the waterproof feature of it. It's just, oh no, you didn't poke Mrs. Six wrong hole. God damn it. But yeah, she wasn't super jazzed to hear it. But I'm nothing if not honest about my mistakes, or I try to be. But I did look into it, and yeah, it turns out it should be fine. If it's just, it really sucked. You know when your heart sinks. And you're like, oh shit, I fucked it up.
You left the oven on again.
Okay, thank you. Just, are we going to bring up any more of my mistakes? I mean, I did do that whilst cooking food for everyone in the house. So, fuck me, I guess.
I'm just letting you know.
My brother once did that on a £110 sound chip for a model railway motor lathe. Oh my god, I can't say locomotive. My brain wants to say mocolotive for some fucking reason. It's like fud muscle. I say that a lot. No, it's not fud muscle. It's mod fussle is what I say. I don't know why. There's no such thing as a wrong hole. There is when you're sticking things into electronics. There's actually shitloads of wrong holes when it comes to sticking metal objects into electronics. My goodness. There's some pretty serious ones. Hear me now, quote me later. No, I will never quote you. I don't quote anybody but myself and, I don't know, clever people.
I have lots of quotes.
Yeah, Mrs. Sick has a book of quotes.
I collect them.
Many of them are from great philosophers. Many more are from weird TV shows, and one of them was from an AI.
Yeah.
But it was super weird, and she really liked it.
I have many things. I have poems and all sorts in here.
My life is just a series of awkward and humiliating moments separated by whiskey. Separated? The fucking whiskey is part of that. But yeah, if you haven't broken it yet, you're not trying hard enough. Well, I don't like to get something and break it the same day. That's kind of the worst situation. I did the fucking same shit with my I got an Xbox Series X because the one thing that has fucking going miles above the especially on launch of the PlayStation was if you buy it with 24 months of Game Pass Ultimate, like the one that gets you everything. It works out as a pretty good deal, and it's about £30 a month. So yeah, that's how I got that, and it was cool. Played a lot with the kids. All great, except for the first thing I did with it is I put it on top of a stool and immediately kicked it off. I was fucking fuming. It's just I cannot be trusted. Mrs. Sick has pointed out that I may very well be dyspraxic. That my body does things.
You are so clumsy, and you drop things all the time, and then you bump into things, and I'm just like, dude.
The weirdest thing is, my least clumsy state is when I'm like moving very quickly. Then I'm fine. I used to do it at school all the time. I would run to get into the food hall. That's not what it's called. Dinner hall. There
Cafeteria.
You go. Cafeteria, whatever. And I would like dodge and dive between people and never even touch anyone. But if I walk slowly down a set of stairs, there is a non-zero chance that I will fall down it. It's fucking ridiculous. I don't care what the internet tells you. I never said that, Socrates. That's one of the most accurate quotes I've ever heard in my life. Dyslexic, you can't even spell the word. There's the thing about the fucking all the words that mean like a fear of something or an inability to do something, like lisp, or there's the fear of really long words is a really long word, obviously. Like, I don't know if the people who discover these things just think they're really funny or are actually evil.
I do hope Mrs. Sick is feeling much better.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I had a camera put down my throat. So
Yeah,
that
on
was
Friday.
That was not fun.
I have an allergic reaction to alcohol too. The allergic reaction to alcohol of getting drunk. Yes, of course. It's just allergies. It's just fucking pollen. I'm not drunk. I'm pollinated. Yeah, Mrs. Sick went for a throat camera thing. And how would you rate it? 10 out of 10?
I prefer the colonoscopy.
Yeah, she'd rather have... So, you know, when in TV shows, like I saw Futurama recently, and one of the characters was offered a camera to go inside them, and they opened their mouth. And they said, guess again. The mouth thing is significantly worse, apparently, according to almost everyone. Because it's just fucking terrible.
I have a very sensitive gag reflex, and also because I needed to be sedated because of my fear of drowning.
No, we've got one person in chat who does it for a living, and another person in chat who's getting one next month. So you two can get together, and I don't know what you'll do, but yeah, it is upper GI. I had that promptly passed out.
It's not good. I'm pretty sure I vomited like multiple times.
Yeah. The bit that really pissed you off is you were retching every time.
Oh yeah, I kept retching and Mick going, ugh. And she's like, oh, stop making noises. It can make your throat hurt.
As if she was like, doing it on purpose.
I can't control this. It's just something my body's doing.
Like, who the fuck makes that noise on purpose? That is not... You're not like trying to fucking call out, hey, I'm being sick, I'm going to make it extra loud. They're fucking medical stuff. They should know this. People do not do it on purpose. You could say, please, can you try to keep the noise back as much as possible? But to act as if she was doing it on purpose is fucking wild.
You heard it here first. This is first Cosplay. The main thing is just because it was less painful. And also, I cannot stand vomiting. I have it's like a full body experience to me, and it's so overwhelming. I can't stand it. So like I yeah, just stick it on my ass. Yeah.
I drop stuff all the time, especially small things like bottle caps and lip balms. But I hardly ever drop my glasses or my phone. It's like my brain makes extra effort for pricey stuff. I'm less likely to drop something very, very light. Midway is where I drop everything. It's fucking annoying. And also knocking over glasses is always fun.
Yeah, he has to have sippy cups.
No, I don't. I haven't had a sippy cup in like 5 years. They became too much of a fucking pain in the ass. What I got was a cup holder that attaches to my desk that basically I can't knock it over.
It's quite deep, yeah.
So as long as I put it in there, I'm fine. And generally speaking, that's been fine. I'm not slurring my words. I'm talking in cursive. That's pretty damn good. But yeah, so that was a thing. She was quite heavily sedated, but not like knocked out sedated, just woozy, crazy person sedated. So I had to go with her and be all kind and get her home and make fun of her and get her... I actually didn't. What I did do, for what was ostensibly a 5-minute procedure, we were there for a solid hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. And I wasn't allowed in the room with her, which, frankly, what would I have fucking done in there anyway, apart from sit there, both be bored and horrified. So yeah, I just sat and played Yellow Taxi Goes Vroom. And when I told Mrs. SIC that's what I was doing, she thought I was just making up a name, making it up, and that I was just calling it that to be weird. But it's a real game and it's quite fun. Calling Jesus on the big white telephone, yes. Dropping the needle while doing stitches is funny if the patient doesn't see. Jesus. You have to be a terrible person to show up late here or on time. Pretty much all the
most of it was just waiting, Dick. It wasn't like I had a camera down my throat for 1.5 hours.
Yeah, it was like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
But they also kept her. They did it, and then they kept her in there for like 40 minutes. I guess to keep an eye on her or something. But then they brought her up.
My blood pressure dropped, so they had to keep an eye on me.
And they were like, "Oh, you gotta look after her, and she can't eat anything until this time." And yeah, stupid ass me. I didn't realize that basically she was incredibly suggestible. So I was like, "Oh, because we were in like we were quite nearby some shops, and so I was like, oh well, we could go get something to eat." And she was like, "Oh, okay." And I realized a couple of minutes went by and went, what do you want to do? She went, "Go home." And I was like, "Okay, let's go home." Like, you have to try and not accidentally get someone to just sit there fucking suffering.
Yeah, but I would have said that if I was sober anyway.
What, go home or
no? You're like,
go
oh,
food?
Do you want to go get some food? Okay, because I wouldn't be eating, but I thought you was going to eat.
No, it was because you hadn't eaten anything for a while and you could have something. Then I realised the only things near us as well would have been shit.
Eat.
I did want to eat because I hadn't eaten anything.
It's not like I was out of it. I was just tired.
I mean, you were woozy.
Yeah, I was lightheaded because I had low blood pressure.
The aliens called. They want their planet back. Well, they can't have it. I'm keeping it. It's mine now. Don't finders keepers and all that shit.
Oh, the barium enema. My sisters had to have those.
What exactly is a barium enema?
It's dye they put through you.
Do they shoot it up you or do they push it? Does it go the other way?
She had to drink it.
Okay. How's that an enema then?
Because
or do they wash it out?
Yeah, they have to wash it out afterwards.
I see.
Especially if you like got a really slow bowel and it has to be like sucked out, I guess.
SIC action figure. What would it do?
Vacuum it out. That'd be so much better. Just like so I don't get bloated all the time.
The SIC action figure would have a button on its back that would drink whiskey, and a string that you'd pull, and it would tell you to fuck off.
That's about right.
It's because the spray they use is a numbing agent. Yeah, that shit was apparently pretty awful.
Yeah, that didn't work for me. Which is probably why I vomited.
Do they use a bottle brush? What? for an enema. I'm not sure that's how that works.
That sounds horrendous.
Drinking the gallon of poop juice for the colonoscopy is worse than the procedure.
Yeah, I agree.
She agrees. It depends as well on the flavour of poop juice, because some of them taste absolutely horrendous and some of them just taste bad.
Yeah, my sister's tried all the different flavours and she said, do not get the lemon one.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I will avoid the lemon one.
Yeah, Mrs. Six's sister has the butt problems, so she's had a lot of the butt tools in the butt and through the throat.
She's also had butt surgery. So.
Yes, she's done it all. She's done all the butt stuff, except for one probably. I want a SIC action figure that does that, don't we all? I want SIC plushes because they'd be amazing. Although what I really want is Spoon Stuff Story plushes, because some of those characters are cute as fuck. Okay, one of those characters is cute as fuck, and I want that. But wait, there's more. Cable up the arse. I saw a SIC plushie from Gimme Swag Then. Emma Thorne's original Baffy plushie is available through December 3rd. Yeah, I don't know how to do any of that shit. I haven't even fixed the fucking... I said all that time ago, oh yeah, I've started working on fixing the... doing a new merch store. Yeah, I did it that one weekend and I haven't done anything since. But to be fair, all of my weekends tend to be fucking packed with bullshit. So it is what it is. I just want to see a bonfire of all the YouTube plushies. Jesus Christ. I mean, that's quite a thing. And hell, if you're buying them, it's like doing that. You might think you're making like a really bold statement. Look at all of these plushies. I'm burning all your plushies. It's like, no, you're burning all your plushies. You bought them. They're not mine.
But I really like
it's like when someone buys a flag to burn. I said, I burnt your flag. No, you burnt your flag.
Like, I like lemon too, but apparently salty lemon is just gross.
I could imagine.
Because it's not actual lemon flavour as well. It's
Also,
like,
lemon is pretty gross.
It's like fake lemon flavour, which is even worse.
Yeah, so I need to fix the merch store. That is a job that I should do at some point in the future. We'll fucking see. I mean, after putting up all of the billies, I've got 4 new billies. I finally started clearing things up and making space. I cleared up. I have a space next to where I sit in the living room, and it was fucking packed with bullshit.
Yep.
And I cleaned most of that over the weekend. So that was a big part of it, and that looks really good now.
He has his little dragon horde.
Yeah. It's just random stuff goes on the table, and then it falls off the table, and then goes under the table, and then it stays there. And I need to make that stop happening somehow. All the YouTube plushies except Dank Pods, One Grit, and Frank the Snake. Someone likes Dank Pods. I like Dank Pods. He seems pretty decent. There's got to be a Crusader crochet pattern out there somewhere. Yeah, then you just put a little scarf on it, and you got yourself a little Sir Sick. Give it a bottle of whiskey, like one of those. Actually, no. I was gonna say one of those little ones you get on airplanes. No, it would be a full size one, even for the tiny little plushie, with the questioning face of "Why did you give me a small?" Did you watch the lamest boxing match of all time last Friday? No, we did not. Mostly because it wasn't on Friday for us. It was on 1 o'clock in the morning on Saturday. I was vaguely curious, and had it been on that evening, I would have checked it out.
I had no interest whatsoever.
Just out of sheer bloody rubbernecking, but I didn't give a fuck. And then obviously I found out later that he lost, and then everyone's going, yeah, he was totally paid to lose, and I'm like, maybe, but that's like a really shit thing. I think the real thing is that fucking YouTube dickhead beats up 60-year-old man. That's
the reason why you can't find a working link to the Sir Sick merch is because there isn't one.
Yeah, there literally isn't a working link.
He needs to fix it.
I need to make a new merch store because the merch store I worked with went away because they were bought by someone else. That's why it links to Cameo, which is not the best place for it to go, but it's fine because they're fine. They're not trying to scam you or anything. So I was like, okay, probably not worth to go through every single one of my videos and fix it. But I do need to actually fix it. And once I've actually bothered to actually do anything, I will let people know. I will announce it. What I should have done is do it before Christmas. Like, well before Christmas. It's too fucking late now. No one would get anything on time. But done it then. And then suggest everybody buy it as Christmas presents. Because I just find that really funny for people to buy their mum a handsome, famous, and good at the sex t-shirt. And for their mum to be like, what the fuck is this? And you know, and I know, but they don't know. And that's what makes it funny. I just had an hour-long conversation with a Muslim. Most of it was fruitless, but there were two things of note. I got him to agree that the Muslim God doesn't care about human well-being. Too long. Okay? I feel like, are you just saying this message is too long? Because it is. Too many words. I get real confused real fast. But, no, I mean, no God cares about well-being because they're not real. So, you know. I was also stumped when he forwarded the Quran verse which supposedly predicted the expansion of the universe. I've ruminated on it, and I've been now able to discard it. But couldn't something. Put it into words. Could you try to? I could try to, but I'm not going to do it here. You can send that to me. I have an email address that you can find on my About page. Don't expect anything, though. I like to think. I enjoy thinking, and I do it technically, professionally, but I will never ever call myself a great thinker. I can come up with a pithy one-liner, and I can sometimes spot where someone's been really stupid where no one else has spotted it. But if you want someone to really take a crack at that, there are many, many smarter boys than me. I might change it into a penis joke, though, so there is that. That is the important part. Yahweh was a Canaanite equivalent to Hephaestus/Vulcan, who was promoted to Ares/Mars, then promoted to Zeus/Jupiter. Still just a Canaanite djinn of war and slaughter. Thank you. That was very helpful. Life is better without expectations. I think you could have some expectations. Life is better when your expectations are realistic. I think that's the way to put it. If you're, and I'm very susceptible to this. Like as someone who makes YouTube videos, I know that my videos can go crazy sometimes. I put out a video not too long ago that is probably my best performing ever. It is now in my top 4 of all time after about 2 months of existence, which is fucking insane, considering I have lots of videos that are like 200,000, 150,000 plus to 200 and something thousand views, which is good numbers. I mean, not the best in the world, but it's good numbers for some fucking arsehole who is a dick online. And yeah, it was the Andrew Tate one, where I basically took his thesis and I turned it back on him. And then a bunch of people didn't watch the video and then went, oh, you call him a talentless bitch, but actually he can kick a boxer real good. And I'm like, did you watch the fucking video? That was not the point. The point was that he thinks that everybody is lower than him, and yet he is the one who hangs out with them.
Didn't the Bible even have actual other gods because they turn them into demons in mage versus mage fights?
I mean, mage versus mage fights in the Bible, it is basically Harry Potter. Let's be frank. But yeah, I can't remember what I was saying. We sold Jack and RC Cola at my college bar in college. Yuck. Who the fuck? So Jack Daniels. I mean, it depends. because I know some places Jack Daniels is like really cheap. Over here, it's like not that cheap. It's part of it is a brand thing. I know that there are nicer ones for the similar prices. I've tried them. Bullet Bourbon is a much nicer than Jack Daniels, but it's still not like the lowest of the low. Like I would say Jim Beam isn't quite as good as Jack Daniels, and then there are things that you can get. I used to buy a very cheap bourbon from I think it was an Aldi. I can't remember the name of it, but it burnt. And I didn't realize how much it burnt until I started drinking higher quality whiskey more regularly. And then I tried it again. I'm like, fucking hell, how the hell did I used to drink this? Jesus, what has this done to my insides? So to have a mid-range one with RC fucking cola, like at least have the cheapest bourbon and cheap shitty cola. Mostly because like the burn would probably flavor through.
Would you join this tank temple? No.
No, not
like
particularly interested.
I appreciate some of the things that the like atheist / satanic groups do.
The part of the satanic temple that is basically a bunch of atheists using it to demonstrate the point of when you want religious stuff in XYZ place, it has to be all of them. And then all the people who are like trying to make their religion their favorite, the best and biggest, is I can't remember what my point was. Oh yeah, that them showing that they're being fucking hypocrites is pretty great. But I wouldn't join them because I'm not willing to call myself a Satanist because I'm not one in any definition of the term.
It's also just that joining any big community organized group thing is just not really a thing that we're into.
Yeah. We've often found, like, we've been on the internet as known quantities for a while now, and people can be really fucking disappointing. It's nice to sort of be friendly. I prefer sort of individual relationships rather than group relationships, because groups are filled with individuals, and individuals can be wankers, and you don't know what someone's going to do, how it's going to reflect on you, and I feel that it's better to not allow that to happen. Like personally, I berate my audience quite a lot, or at least I berate parts of it, and behaviors that I've seen in my own audience that I think are kind of shit behavior. Certain things. One of the ones was someone sending me, well, not just someone, a few people sent me videos to cover, and I was like, okay, I'll check this out. And it was clearly someone who was not all there. And I mean, like, you might say, oh yeah, but some of the people you cover are not all there. No. He was very clearly had some sort of pretty severe learning disability, like in no uncertain terms. And he was just talking about his experience with God and how he believes. I'm like, I am not fucking touching that with a 1,000,000-foot goddamn barge pole. Ever. Do not send this to me. What the fuck is wrong with you? And I said that multiple times in multiple places. And if anyone has ever thought, and if you see someone like that, and you think, oh, I'm going to make fun of them, don't. What the fuck's wrong with you? Like, what you should do with someone like that is sort of be more empathetic with them and talk to them, and maybe you can help them to understand how some of the things that they believe are wrong, because they're not necessarily stupid. They're just probably quite easily influenced, and they've gotten a lot of influence from the people around them who, you know, people who've taken care of them or whatever. But yeah, and all sorts of things like that. Like, so when my audience as a community of some description, although it's mostly sort of centered around, I mean, of course it's centered around my YouTube channel, but it doesn't seem to exist much anywhere else but that. Like, I have a Reddit, but no one fucking uses it. And I feel like that's a good thing. I feel that it's kind of good that it stays within sort of my control. And yeah, so yeah, we were talking about other groups can upset you. Ultimately, I am part of a group, technically the leader of a group, although I don't like to think of myself as that. I'm
really
just a
weird.
fucking entertainer. I'm just an asshole. But ultimately, I am the person most responsible. That's probably the way to put it. Like, if I wanted this grouping of people to stop happening, I could just delete the channel and then it would be gone. I don't know where else I'm going with this, but yeah, my point is big groups can be fucking shit, and the Satanic Temple is not immune from that. Also, I'm not a Satanist, so it's kind of a moot point. I'm listening to Spice Girls Wannabe under you talking. It actually works. Okay, fair enough. Groucho Marx. Please accept my resignation. I don't want to belong to any club that will accept me as a member. Yeah, I mean, there is that too. The one, like I said, the one group that I'm happy to be part of is the one that I'm effectively in charge of. But I don't consider myself like in charge. Again, like you can't control other people as well.
I'm just not good with people.
Yeah.
And when I get expected to do things socially, I don't want to.
Yeah, like socializing. I like socializing, but I definitely like it to be something I have control over, in the sense that I'd like to be able to leave whenever I want. I absolutely fucking hated social events when I was a kid, because you're there and you can't leave if you want to. So a lot of the time there was someone there who was being shit, and you can't escape from them. And that sucks. I have an uncle who is a massive bully. He doesn't see it that way, obviously, because he's a prick. But yeah, I absolutely hated going to anything with him there, because he would just be a fucking asshole to me. And yeah, so now if I go to things, it's with the ability to leave. That's why, because neither me nor Mrs. SIC drive, because where we live, we just don't have to. But my mum lives 200 miles away, so the only way to get there is either by public transport that's like completely out of our control, especially around Christmas time, and we need somewhere to stay, which is usually in someone's house, and that takes all the control out, so we've just stopped doing that. At the end of the day, we didn't fucking move away from them.
Like, I don't mind socializing, it just has to be limited. Like, I like doing it very occasionally. I don't like doing it like all the time, because it makes me drained.
There's only like a small handful of people that you can tolerate for an extended time period, and even there's only one person she can not only tolerate being around, she actually likes being around them, and for some reason it's me. Yeah, so she can spend more time with me. I energize her and make her feel better, but most people drain the shit out of her, especially your family.
Yeah.
Like, they're fine. They're not absolutely horrendous people most of the time, but they are quite a lot of work. Even I find them to be quite a bit of work, and I'm tons of work. I'm such an asshole.
To have to take naps after meeting people.
Yeah, exactly. I never quite know what to do with nice people. You be nice back to them. Yes, exactly. What am I supposed to do? If they're really nice, what you can do is make fun of them, and they won't be able to do anything but be nice to you. Now, that might make you a piece of shit, but it will be very funny. So, you know. If you deleted the channel, we would worship you as Saint SIC. Put a candle in a whiskey bottle, and then you put the whiskey in a jarro, and then you go. Would you worship me as a martyr? I guess I'd have to be martyred. I'd have to, the channel would have to be murdered rather than me just like unaliving it, as they say. I've never really enjoyed a party as a kid or an adult. New Year's Eve was a nightmare I will never subject myself to again. The only New Year's Eve I can remember from being a kid, I'd eaten an ungodly amount of chocolate and then it came back up, and it was the only thing I'd eaten. So it was the most delicious looking sick I've seen in my life. And then I had to do it down the sink because I wasn't going to eat even puke chocolate. But I just just looked at it thinking, what a fucking waste. I had enough of family to last me a lifetime. I mean, to be fair. I mean, I'm hoping that the things we try to do with our kids, that like how we kind of find our family completely exhausting, we're hoping to make it so that the kids actually want to spend time with us, and then we'll have to like have them not tell them not to come over because we're sick of them. No. I'm hoping that we do a good job of making them happy to spend time with us. The only New Year's I remember was at the age of 15 and lost something I was happy about. Oh, right, you lost something you were happy about. That took me a second. 15, eh? Congratulations. I lost mine at 19.
I'm confused.
Let's not tell her what he means until she figures it out. When did other people lose their thing that they were happy about? Hopefully you were happy about it. I don't really want to go into people who are unhappy about that. That shit sucks.
Are you talking about virginity?
Yeah, she figured it out.
Mine was when I was 15.
I still have mine. I'm really good at keeping track of it. Yeah. Oftentimes mine's one of the oldest. I was a late bloomer. And then it turned out that as soon as I started going to metal clubs, I was sexy in that world. And you couldn't fucking get them off me. It was ridiculous. Men and women, they liked me. Big dude, long hair, beard. It's a good look. I thought I'd lost it, but I found it down the back of the sofa.
Oh, that's nice. I'm glad
Imagine
you got it
if that is what you could do. You thought you'd lost your virginity, but it was all just grinding. And it just fell off. It fell off. That sounds disturbing. Technically, if you drink a spirit, you get possessed. But as an incorporeal being, how do you keep it in? Again, grinding. I think mine's grown back.
Sucking like the Mormons.
Oh my god. I borrowed someone else's. Does that count? How does that even work? It depends. Like, it depends how you do that. Were they strapped to you? Did you use an artificial one? Either way. I have mental issues. No one understands why I cosplay. I think lots of people understand why you cosplay. I mean, who wouldn't when it's me?
People who cosplay probably understand why you cosplay.
One of the things I've noticed in a few... I've seen some random videos of cosplayers, and they're like... people going up to them and like hugging them and shit. The amount of... I would say quite good-looking women who then go, oh, don't come near me, I fucking stink. It's just really disturbing. Yeah, because in my experience, I've only ever met one woman who fucking stank because she'd obviously not put any deodorant on that day. And it was wild. She's probably the smelliest person I've ever met. And I'd met this person beforehand, and they didn't smell that time. So I don't know what the fuck they did, but holy shit.
I can't deal with people's BO. It's so overwhelming. Like, especially when you end up getting trapped in a small place on, like, a lift.
It's not even, like...
oh, God, no.
Like, deodorants are pretty good at covering up the stank.
They're also cheap.
Yeah. Like, they're very effective. Like, I am not the most... I'm not a person who's, like, showering every day. We'll put it that much. And I can get quite smelly. But you put on some deodorant, and it's generally fine. If you're not offending yourself, you're probably okay. But I don't know how someone can smell that much and not fucking realize it. Like, hard.
It must be nose blind or something.
I mean, I guess.
I don't know how you could be nose blind to that smell. I can't stand my own smell.
Well, we were at that club that we frequent, and you could smell it from the outside room.
Oh yeah, that was bad.
You hadn't met. This was years before I met you.
No, like just being in a metal club, and
it's quite a sweaty place.
No, yeah, but you get that one person.
I mean,
and they walk through it and just leave a trail.
The wafters.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I have been known to carry a stick of deodorant on me to give to people. People get used to their own stank. It's, like I said, it's when it's someone that you've known not to be a smelly bastard, and then they come and they fucking stink, and it's like, what have you done?
You can't smell your own smell. I beg to differ.
My smell smells like minced beef and onion pie. Mrs. Six's own smell, to her, smells like beans.
Yeah.
And then like super strong beans. And it's very weird. Does anyone have any interesting... Oh, I smell like X. Not eggs. X.
I smell like beef.
I smell like beef. My smell is like the lilies of the valley. Fuck off.
Did you mean as in like it smells poisonous?
Oh, I like that. I smell like old fried chicken. I could smell it right now. It smells delicious. Well, it depends how old. Like if it's a day old, that shit's amazing. As long as it was like refrigerated. But if it's like a few weeks, that could be pretty goddamn gross. Beans means Mrs. Sick.
You can't. It's been proven as you smell it all the time. Okay, then. I can smell myself when I'm particularly bad.
Yeah, we're not talking about the smell you have most of the time. We're talking about a smell that you have when you've had a big sweaty night's sleep after having gone exercising or done some very physical activity. And then you wake up in the morning and you fucking reek. Everybody has the capacity to smell their reek. I usually smell like weed. Are you saying regardless of whether you've smoked? Because that's pretty bad.
It's in your system now.
Old Canvas. I like that one. That one's almost regal.
Oh, that's like a little bit musky. But...
I smell like books. That's what that's like. My smell is something between black tea and coffee. I love the fact that for everyone, it's actually quite a different thing. We haven't had two people go, oh yeah, I also smell of beans. My nose smells a lot. Fuck you, dick. I smell like garlic. I eat a lot of it, so it comes out of my pores. That's fair. That makes a lot of sense as well. I guess it's 90% the diet of the person, but also some genetic factor.
Like, the thing is, I don't eat beans.
Yeah, it's not like she eats beans all the time. She hardly ever fucking eats beans. And when she does, it has to be these low salt ones, otherwise she starts crying fucking spinal fluid. I'm as pure as the drifted snow. I do not reek. I bet you're the smelliest bastard on the planet. I bet that there's a radius around you where birds fall out of the sky.
God.
My brother-in-law smells like Taco Bell. I haven't eaten a Taco Bell since my marriage.
Don't blame you.
That's fucking amazing. Yes, but Rob Allen, what do you smell of? Everybody knows their own stank. Roast beef and THC. That's very... I mean, we've got someone who smells like beef.
My private smell like regret.
Don't they all? There's a surprising amount of smells like weed. I think that is just the smell of weed that's like landed on you. I mean, it's aerosolized at that point. I'd be interested to know. Spend some time not doing weed. I know, crazy. But yeah, like a couple of months, and then do something really physically demanding, like watching a flat Earth video, and then all the sweat, let it linger, and then tell me what you smell like. Six father smelt of elderberries. I don't know what my father smells of, but I know that he thinks he's really good at swimming.
Chlorine.
That's all I know about the man.
Beer and chlorine.
Aren't Curry's garbanzo bean chickpeas based? Are you saying that they are based as in, good? Because that's weird. I do like chickpeas. Chickpeas are amazing.
Like chickpeas. When you get the ones, you cook them and then you roast them.
When they go a little hard, crunchy.
And you had like salt and pepper and a little bit of paprika. Oh, it's really nice.
Oh yeah, eat the shit out of that. Often smell of dinitrogen, tetroxide, and hydrazine. So what standard thing is that I don't know the chemical name of? They didn't used to drink milk in Asia and said we smelt like rotten milk when they first met Europeans. Yeah, I mean, that kind of makes sense. That everybody who drinks milk and has it, even if it's like through your body, it's going to eventually like get out of you somewhere. And if it's a smell that you just don't get in your country because no one does it, that's going to be. Currently smell like cat. That's because of cat. Did you eat the cat? I don't eat meat. Okay, but what do you eat and how do you smell of it? You guys are in Yorkshire, right? Have you noticed how everywhere smells of weed now? Oh my fucking god.
Yeah.
Oh my fucking god, someone finally said it. Who isn't us.
Pretty much everywhere we go it stinks. Yeah.
And it's almost every time we get a new goddamn neighbour now. The smell just gets stronger. And it's annoying because we don't know where they get it. And they're
not into sharing, so.
The bastards. They're mostly just noisy and bastards. Hopefully that problem will be sorted out soon. What the fuck is a curry? It's a food. Well done.
You got
Enjoy
Google.
this new news.
You got Google, haven't you?
Shit, most of the girls in Japan are in love with strawberry milk. Oh, is that a thing now? I know that there's pills you can take that make your lactose intolerance not as big a deal or not a big deal. There was also that fucking mad lad who like rewrote his DNA or something. He like gave himself a virus that gave him the gene for dealing with lactose or lactase. It might be called lactase. I can't remember.
Oh yeah, didn't he like?
And assuming that was real, that's insane.
Like he said something like for 3 months he was able to have it.
For 3 months he could have it and be
symptoms.
Absolutely fine. And then after, well, I don't know what the exact time frame, but for a time period he was fine. And then much later it was less bad than it used to be. And that's crazy. That's some cool ass shit. I want him to add like a machine gun turret to himself, because that's next. Buy ticket to Yorkshire. What, just for the smell? It's just a smell. You can get a spray that smells like fucking weed. It's still not legal here. Yeah. My neighbour went from weed to meth. It didn't end well. That is not a good jump. That is not a necessary jump either. That's the stupid thing.
Stay in your lane. Just do the one.
Well, the thing is, people rarely go from alcohol to weed. Yeah. I mean, they do it, but it's not as common as from weed to many other hard drugs.
I think,
and that's because of the legal aspects of it.
I think it's partly your mental state. Partly your
I think it's an accessibility thing.
It is accessibility.
If you can access weed, you can access every other drug.
Partly accessibility, partly because of your mental state, and partly because if you have an addictive trait that makes you easily addicted to things.
Stick to weed and keep away from meth and samurai swords. Although I like the idea of a drug called samurai swords. It's sharp. My karma just ran over my dog, my fuck's sake. But, yeah. Although, I am definitely not one of those people who says weed is like just this delightful, possibility of having any harm to you as possible. You are fucking with your brain chemistry. It is irrelevant how you do it. If you fuck with your brain chemistry, you will do things that you weren't expecting. The biggest problem the whole weed is just the best thing ever. Fighting the biggest problem with fighting against that is the fact that they made it so difficult to fucking research it. So now that the research has sort of gotten more sort of available, it's been shown some of the problems, which of course they were there. It is quite addictive, which people didn't believe for a really long time, which is really dumb.
Depending on your genetic makeup as well, some people can have psychosis from having weed.
A friend of ours smoked a lot of it, and whenever he saw leaves, like during autumn, if a leaf blew in the wind, he'd see rats attacking his legs. And this was without a hint of the stuff in his body. He just smoked enough of it, and it made him a little bit fucked. It is what it is. Been smoking weed since I was 13, rarely do anything else, still healthy. I mean, some people smoke cigarettes their entire life and live to be 113. You know, a single example is not anything that demonstrates like the trend. The science is the science, and you're like, I love you, Dick. You turn up a lot, and you know how I feel about Dick, but it is always more than your own personal experience. Yeah. I think weed is fucking great.
I think people should get
in small doses.
I think there should be a way of getting yourself tested. You know, like a trial thing to see if you are susceptible to certain types of drugs and stuff. Just to see if, like, oh, right, we'll do this trial and see how your body reacts to it, so that we know like how much you can tolerate, or if you can tolerate it at all. Just, you know, like under lab conditions, because then it'll make people like go, yeah, best not do that then.
Yeah. Other animals do get wasted. Lots of them easy fermented fruits to get drunk. You mean, yeah, eat fermented fruits to get drunk. Dolphins huff pufferfish.
Yeah, they do.
I've never heard that before. That's fucking amazing.
It gets them high.
It is the fact that it is pufferfish makes it so much fucking funnier.
I've seen video of them like ragging it around.
Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, the poor pufferfish.
Yeah, they're quite brutal dolphins.
Pass the pufferfish on the left-hand side.
Oh my god.
Had to be done. I wasn't even very addicted to tobacco back when I smoked. I just forgot one day to buy another carton. A couple of months later, I remembered. I mean, you're basically like me. I'm someone who doesn't really have like the addictive part of my brain. What I do like is enjoying myself. So because I played video games growing up, I got told by lots and lots of people that I had an addictive personality. So it was my hobby. It was the thing I liked to do. I lived in the middle of fucking nowhere in terms of England, which is basically if you live in a town without a good bus service, and you're a child and thus don't drive, you live fucking in the middle of nowhere, even if there are towns all around you. So yeah, I couldn't fucking go anywhere, so I played a lot of video games. Quite like them now still. But yeah, I started smoking when I was in my early 20s. I stopped smoking over 10 years ago when it became slightly annoying to do, which is to say Mrs. SIC was pregnant and I didn't want to go outside. So I decided to just stop smoking and I've had like 3 cigarettes since then. And they are what they are. Yeah. And people get very, very upset with me at how easy it was for me. And that's funny, always. Mrs. SIC still craves them smokes.
Yeah, I crave nicotine regularly. Yeah. Even though I'm trying to just not have cigarettes.
A duchy is a type of cooking pot, if the cops ask. I like that.
I'm 45. I finally got my ADHD diagnosis in February, and yes, I do have prescription meth. So it's not just because it has meth in the title, it doesn't mean that it is literally that.
I mean, they might just be joking, but if you're not joking,
yeah. But there's also the
changing like literally one part of the chain of chemicals makes it do something completely fucking different.
So what it does, it increases your dopamine, which you lack because your brain does not give you enough dopamine, which is why you can't focus and you tend to be impulsive.
Just use a tobacco pipe. Actually bought some tobacco pipes because they were £1 in the pound shop, and I thought it was hilarious. And I bought one for me and my best friend, who does not smoke at all, just so we could sit around with pipes and be men. The funniest thing about it is it came with an adapter where you could put a cigarette in the smoking pipe, which is the stupidest fucking shit I've ever seen. It was very funny. I used it once because I thought I was hilarious.
Yeah, Ritalin is methylphenidate. That is not meth.
No. It has meth in the word, but it's not the same thing. The opposite of Ritalin is Rital out. Cigarettes with extra steps.
Like our kids are on ADHD medication, and they're fine.
Yeah.
Then they don't act like meth heads do.
But it's
in fact, it helps them focus.
Yeah. We weren't completely convinced of that for a while, and then we took them off of it, and they fucking, when it came to concentration at school, went absolutely downhill. It was crazy. But yeah, if that's one of the things people get sort of crazy about when it comes to medication for things like ADHD and what have you, is that you feel like what do they say? That you feel like a science experiment, and that's because you're an individual, and no two people have the same easily figure outable things that will work for them. You know, when our kids first went on medication, they went on something else, and it was fucking terrible for them. It made them exhausted. They just hated everything.
Because it was a depressant.
But unfortunately, we had to show the experiment wasn't working by keeping them on it for about 3 months, because we took them on it off of it not super long after, because it made them so miserable. And we obviously explained to the kids just how that worked and what we were doing. We basically we made it so we're proving someone wrong, and if there's one reason to do anything, it's to prove another person wrong. And you know, we got through it and moved on to a medication that was far better for them. But yeah,
it depends. Some people really go zombie-esque when they're on methylphenidate, but that's because it's either too high a dose for them, or it's just a medication that does not work for them. Because it's something like 20 to 30% of people with ADHD do not respond well to medication.
Yeah.
So
yeah, some people literally can't have medication, and you just have to find other ways to cope. But it's definitely not ideal. Anyway.
Yes, Strattera, that's the American name for it. That's what they were on before. Yeah, it really sucked for them.
Yeah, it was awful. We felt so bad for them. It was combined with a really, really shit teaching assistant. Oh my god, she has like a swear word in this house. Really, really bad at their job. But yeah, we've moved on to something that seems to be doing way fucking better. These weeks started a medication and seeing if it actually works is not. Oh, those weeks starting a medication to see if, yeah, I mean, it can be quite good if it's something that actually kind of works quite well, but then it will stop working as well, which is the annoying part of it, as I understand.
Yeah, you've got to be very on top of it. If you feel like your symptoms are coming back and stuff, you need to get yourself a review.
Yeah.
And yeah, you have to be very self-aware, which is also part of the problem, being very self-aware. So.
As a mental health nurse, I'd say most people are on the wrong meds. I imagine so, but it's a slow process, unfortunately. I think more people being understand of the fact that it is a process would definitely help.
It's also the reassurance that you are allowed to complain when you feel like it's not working.
And
because a lot of people are so timid, they just don't bother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You need someone like me who's not. I will tell people how things are when it comes. Like Mrs. Sick takes me to appointments when a doctor is being a little bit dismissive, and then I will just go in guns blazing. But right, this is how it is. This is what's going on. And they're like, well, you know. And I'm like, shut the fuck up, doctor. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. let's try something else. And then they're a bit more receptive. But yeah. Anyway, it is past an hour and I still have fucking work to do, so I'm gonna piss off now. But thank you all for coming. As always, it's been a terrible stream for terrible people. Never ended it like that before, but fuck you all. Bye.
Bye bye.